Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw. Okay, this is called Over the Horizon. And it's fantastic. Okay, so it's morning light. The sky has very soft kind of clouds. It's blue, white, all this stuff. In the foreground,
it's actually sunset.
Sunset. Sorry. Okay, no problem. So totally wrong. But sunset, that's fine. And then in the immediate foreground, is whoever the photographer is standing on the road, shooting into what looks like sage and other like dryish kind of plants. And somebody or the city or something put up these words. It is not the end of the world. Oh, dude, I love that. It's actually in between to what looks like a highway, a raised highway, and another road or whatever. It is not the end of the world. I love it. Okay. Why? What? Who? How? What is this? I love it.
You like missed most of the things on this picture because it's tricky.
Okay.
And I will reveal it with pleasure.
Please. Yes, please do.
So this is a very unique place in Italy.
Oh, okay.
Turin is a place I lived for a month and a half before after the Ukraine and before the United States. So it's like I was waiting there.
Yeah.
It's a very cool city, underestimated, definitely. And this particular place very much impressed me. This is actually a road, but it's not a highway. It's a road on the top of the building.
What? Okay.
It's not a road itself. It's how is it called?
It's like a parking.
It's a track. No, it's a track for testing cars. I did see this location in some videos in the internet, like very old, black and white. It's a building of a Fiat company.
Okay.
You know this brand.
Yeah, Fiat. Yeah.
This
The
is
brand. Yeah.
this is actually the factory for cars in Turin. They built this like very innovative building with the car track on the roof to test new cars. So for now it's not used, and the building is just like a shopping center or just an office center, and they made a park out of that track, so you just can go there, admire the city, and so on. So it's very nice place, and for me it was like the last days in Europe. After this, I just bought a ticket and fly to Miami, and I discovered this sign saying it's not the end of the world. It was very like close to my feelings at that time. I understood that whenever you come, it's not the end point, so you can move further if you want, and if you like ambitious person, you will just move and move. So it's not always about moving on the ground, but it's moving on your development, learning, like business, whatever. And this is kind of inspiring thing for me.
That's super inspiring. And I love the fact that so it's on the roof. And okay, so it's sunset, so the light is nice and golden, and the letters are in this really bright, intense blue. Like it's kind of like it's like deeper than sky blue, but it's almost indigo. It's this amazing blue, and it's got the plants, and it's got a track or road on top of the building, and it's just like it is not the end of the world. Okay. So so if we're going to say that there's this story connecting, the photo of your studio, with a kid holding it in the red t-shirt, looking at us at a monitor while you guys are making 2D animation. And then you've got two business owners in a group, you on the top of the hill, sorry, mountain, holding up the Ukrainian flag, giving the thumbs up. And then you've got the image of Kiev at night. And then you've got this. It is not the end of the world, which is an uplifting kind of it's a bit like really the phrase or the phrase "it is not the end of the world" is kind of like absurd, right? It's a little bit absurd because it's like at least to put this fake these beautiful plants on top of this building with this road on top of the building, like it's just an absurd sort of moment, right? So why don't you talk about that absurd? I'm just sort of emotionally responding to this in terms of what is the lesson here?
Well, when we just talking before this podcast took place, you said just to choose those pictures out of my life, and
Hmm.
I would say that this all these pictures are essential moments for me. I just put this picture as the force and just completing this sequence because it says that this is just the beginning. I mean, like end point is just the beginning of something new, and not the end of the
Right.
world means like you never have to stop in your curiosity, learning, and in your goals.
Hmm.
So there will be much more like in my life and in everybody's life who will say to himself or herself that there is much more in future.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, I was
Um,
just listening to this historian talking, who's essentially saying, I mean, here's a historian who spends his life looking backwards at the past, and but whose main message is like we can't really, all we have is to look forward. Really, what we all we can do really is we're in the present. We can look back and learn, but essentially we can't change the past. So all we can do is look forward. So where do you find hope?
I don't have a lack of hope actually. I'm not losing
Well, yeah,
it.
I could see that. I mean, like as and to go back to that question of being the entrepreneur, of like of the person who creates something, of it's fundamentally optimistic and it's hopeful.
It's like you understand that you cannot do different way. You are unstoppable. I see my 10 months old kid and he like runs all the time. He can't see it. He's like so curious. He just
Hmm.
he's really unstoppable. And I see that most people who just become old, especially like 40, 50 or just whatever, they just become very inert and passive.
Hmm.
They don't believe in themselves and they're just they're just rolling to the end of life. It's bad. And I consider that most of people's lives is finished when they consider it to be finished. So you don't have
Hmm.
to even think of it. And also, I just want to share one thought about this not end of the world is that I mentioned that people in Ukraine are kind of disappointed, like most of them are disappointed, and they have they really lost hope. And I
Hmm.
hear thoughts like this from like men mostly. They say, okay, I had work, I had like job, business, whatever. Now I'm losing it. The only way I have is just to take the gun and go to the war. So it's
Hmm.
when people just want to go to the war, they just want to protect, this is one thing. But when they had everything like family, business, like job, whatever, and they say, I lost everything and the only thing I have is just fight, it's very, very depressive. I mean,
Sure.
it's like saying I'm done.
Yeah, to say the least.
So yeah, and I have many close people in Ukraine, and I want to like share hope with them, and I
Hmm.
know that there will be much more happening in Ukraine and whenever they will find themselves, but they shouldn't just stop on this or stuck on this very moment.
Hmm.
And I myself, I had to find a lot of power to just to kick my ass to the new world, to change something in my life for me, for my
Hmm.
family, and just I hope that I will create something good in this life, like many good things in this life. So I could not do this if I'm sitting on one place. So I had to move because of myself and for other people.
Sure. Yeah, no, I definitely get that. Um, it's a funny thing to be. Yeah, I mean, it's a funny thing to be. We're all living our lives, and this notion of hope for the future and optimism and people, trying to figure out like the whole promise. I think of the U.S. and probably what attracted you was this idea of potential and possibility or hope for a better tomorrow. But what? Okay, so I'm going to leave you. I'm going to give you the space to have the last word. And yeah, like let's say for somebody who's completely outside of the Ukraine, of Hong Kong, of Canada, of the US, whatever it is, what can we tell them, or what can you tell them as a kind of human life lesson?
Um, what I noted, like learned for the last 1 or 2 years, is mostly life is always much, much, much bigger than you expect it to be. I have like traveled a lot, like a lot of countries and so on, but now when I just moved, I discover so many things. And I discovered so many things during war, and we all discovered many things during pandemic. So life always is much bigger, much nicer. Sometimes it's harder, sometimes it's rewarding. But if you are open to its prizes, you'll definitely get them. And I want to say that it's always worth going out of your like normal situation of your comfort zone, the box, whatever, and just
Hmm.
search for more. One of my favorite like bloggers, he has this phrase, just get out of your home and get busy. You'll always find
Hmm.
something rewarding.
Get out of your home and get busy. Yuriy Polyashko. Thank you for your time, for the for sharing your story for this trip. Thank you very much.
I admired this talk run and really, really great time.
So, is life really a gift? Really? Can you make every second count? That's the whole point of the podcast. So, if you like what you've seen and you're inspired, because that really is my mission, then please give it a like, subscribe, and share.
Shooting it raw?
Yes, shooting it raw.